Hello and welcome to this week's Real Estate Report on the Finance News Network. I'm Tracy Tandon. This week we continue a series looking at capital city suburbs with the highest rental growth for units in Australia, starting with a look at Perth and Darwin. And in our tax tip, we look at claiming travel expenses for tax deductions. But first, let's catch up on the latest property news with Lelda Smits.
Many economists believe that while Australian house prices are overvalued, positive economic factors mean the housing market is not in a bubble. In the absence of much higher interest rates, higher unemployment, and an increase in the supply of land in and around capital cities, it is unlikely house prices will fall sharply. This last fact has been borne out by recent figures from the Urban Development Association of Australia, with vacant land prices in metropolitan areas up 1% over the last 3 months and 3.2% for the year. Property research data from economic forecaster BIS Shrapnel predicts pent-up demand will see more new houses incoming onto the market in Perth. The forecaster predicts the average number of new properties will be around 10,366 in the next 4 years, representing a 19% increase over the last 4 years.
This week, we continue a series looking at capital city suburbs with the highest rental growth for units in Australia, starting with a look at one suburb in Perth and one in Darwin. First, let's look at the unit market in East Fremantle, Perth, a port city in Western Australia, located 19 kilometres southwest of Perth. The city is at the mouth of the Swan River and is more commonly known as East Freo. With a population of 6,697 in the last census, East Fremantle is part of the City of Fremantle, a coastal port city bounded by the Indian Ocean and the Swan River. The area has significant cultural and architectural heritage. The area also has big music and art scene and is host to a number of festivals, cafes, restaurants, retail stores and markets. The area has museums, art centers, parks and clean beaches. Turning to the figures for the year 30th June 2010, rents in East Fremantle rose 18.6% to $350 per week from $295 per week in 2009. For the same period, 62 rentals were advertised. The median price of a unit in East Fremantle is $530,000. Our next suburb is the unit market in Milner, Darwin, located in Northern Territory, a 10-minute drive north of Darwin's central business district. Milner is considered one of the major growth areas of the northern suburbs. With a population of 2,617 in the last census, Milner is an upcoming area and is centrally located as it is between 3 main arterial roads. The area is close to the CBD, the airport, recreational parks, and sporting venues. Milner is also home to Homemaker Village, the second largest shopping centre in the Northern Territory, boasting over 100 shops. In addition to the shopping, Milner also boasts attractions such as Nightcliff and Rapid Creek markets, the jetty, and the beach. Taking a look at the figures, rentals for Milner rose 14.3% from $350 per week in 2009 to $400 per week in the year to 30th June. Over the same period, 39 properties were advertised. The median price of a unit in Milner is $276,000. And now to the tax tip of the week from Depreciator, the tax depreciation schedule specialists. This week, we look at claiming travel expenses. You can claim a deduction for the cost of travel to inspect your rental property. The expenses you claim, however, not only include transportation costs, but also include cost of meals and accommodation if your property is a long distance away. Travel expenses that are deductible include car running costs and depreciation, preparing the property for new tenants, collecting rent, inspecting the property, and maintaining or repairing the property. Travel expenses that are not deductible include traveling expenses to inspect potential properties to purchase and traveling expenses to purchase a property. Whilst these are not tax deductible, they may form a part of the cost base of the property. If you have a property interstate, it does not mean you can write off your holidays. Travel expenses for tax purposes must be reasonable. This means you can't go for 10 days to inspect your property. However, if you went to inspect your property once a year for 2 days, it may be deductible. Traveling interstate to your property 3 times a year is unlikely to be fully deductible. And as always, remember to consult with a tax accountant or a tax professional before making any tax-related decisions. And that is the Real Estate Report for Monday, the 22nd of November. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tracy Tandon for the Finance News Network.